We are here with actress Jennifer Cheon Garcia. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're gearing up for the premiere of the final season of Van Helsing. How are you feeling about this? That after 4 seasons, now we're premiering the final.
It's such a mixed bag of emotions because, I mean, with the pandemic and I mean, we've been a year now in this time. And a year ago today, I mean, we had no idea if it was going to even happen, you know? And then when we finally got the go that we were going and that we were going to be the first production to start up was a pretty big deal. So we felt a lot of eyes on us, you know, I mean, this season and with the final and also with the pandemic, and where my character is at in the story, it just all kind of, in a way, was kind of mirroring each other. It's been such a mixed bag. I mean, I'm so excited that, you know, fans finally get to see it. All of our collaborations have gone together and now it's done. I mean, I'm a little sad to say goodbye to her. She really did change my life a lot. I learned so much from that experience. So it's bittersweet. It really is bittersweet.
I feel like bittersweet is the best way to put it because, you know, of course it is sad to close this chapter, but it's something so wonderful and amazing that you'll always take with you. What can fans expect from this season? As much as you can give away, what are some things that fans can anticipate?
Oh God, all the things that they love the show for. I mean, We've got all the blood, guts and glory,
the gore,
explosions and like all of that stuff that you love, you know, times a million, because this is it. This is the last hurrah. So we really went go big or go home, and we did not go home. We went big. And I think they're really going to be excited to see some like origin stories too. The trailer just came out and you see a little snippet of Vanessa coming back and being a part of the story in some way. And so I think they're really going to love like a lot of the reasons why they started watching the show, and then, you know, kind of the evolution to the show, and it all kind of wrapped up in one big bloody brawl, you know? So I think that's what they can expect for sure.
I didn't think that you guys could like shove any more gore into it, but now like expectations are so high because it's like, okay, with the last season, we got to elevate it. Everything that we can do, I'm excited to see. That's like an understatement for sure. You play Ivory, a former vampire enhanced human. Are there any similarities you have to this character in real life? Personality-wise, obviously assuming you're not a former vampire in real life, but personality-wise.
Actually, breaking news.
Yeah.
Yes, our diets are quite different back in the day. Yeah, there's some similarities for sure, especially last season when she became a human and kind of coming back into this new world. It kind of made me feel like, you know, as you know, like you grow up as a woman in this world and kind of society kind of tells you what you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to act. And God, there's all these rules and regulations and too much of this, too little of that, and more of this and less of that. And like just up and down and all around. And then you grow up as a woman and then you like, you know, you hit your 20s, hit your 30s, hit your 40s, 50s. And there's always like this milestone of change where you kind of wake up and realize, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. I don't think I'm that, you know, I don't like wearing that, or, you know, which is whatever it is. And I kind of feel like that's where I related to her character. So she kind of, you know, opens her eyes one day. She has memories of someone that she used to be that she didn't like being, but had to be that. And then now she has this opportunity to really take her own life back and her own story back and discover who she is. And that's what's really exciting about season 5, is because now she's just, all right, I'm taking charge of what I loved from that time of my life, and I'm making it my own again, and I'm going forward, and I want to bring everybody with me. And I love how the sisterhood and the Van Helsings, you know, come together to fight the dark one.
I feel like Ivory is like a very elevated analogy of like something that women go through just in their day-to-day lives. As you know, as you were saying, you change who you are, and, you know, you come to the realization of maybe some qualities you don't no longer see yourself having, and you evolve. Of course, we don't always go through the same exact scenarios as Ivory. That's a much more elevated analogy, but I think that it kind of does give parallel representation to a very relatable theme.
Definitely.
I have to ask, if you weren't playing Ivory, what role would you take on in this series? Whose
Oh,
role
there's
would you
so many
steal?
good ones. Who would I steal? Oh, it would probably have to be Axel. I have to think about it. Axel's so
Right.
badass.
And
He's
you're
just
a
like
badass, so which we'll
effortlessly
get into
cool.
more. But you are totally badass, so I can see that.
It's so distracting working with him because also Jonathan Scarp is just so good. So he'll, we'll be in the scene and then all of a sudden, like the Jennifer part of my brain that's still working is like, oh, that was so nice. Oh, right,
Yeah.
slime.
I can absolutely see those characteristics coming into play. Aside from this series, you've been in a ton of works, amazing works, the A-Team, Star Trek Beyond, Supergirl. What's been your favorite project thus far?
My favorite project so far? I mean, they've all been really awesome in their own way. They've all come to me at different times of my life. It's so hard to pick one. I do have like a sentimental connection to Midnight because I got to actually work with my husband, which we never thought that we would ever get the chance to do. So that was so much fun to be able to spend some time and see him in his element because I've never seen him on set or doing his thing, and so that has to probably be, if I had to choose, just because there was like an extra little added
sentimental.
Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
answer. I feel like if I have to put you on the hot burner, if I have to put you on the spot, that's the perfect answer because I think that sentimental touch, I mean, that's a beautiful reason to pick that as your quote unquote favorite. You've also played quite a bit of diverse characters. Not only have you been in some diverse projects, but some diverse characters. What's your dream role to one day play? If you could play anything.
Something that I would love to do is see iconic roles change and bend, like, of course, like, oh my God, Catwoman. Like my whole life I've been wanting to be Catwoman and, right. Secretly dress up in a cat suit and run around the house. But something that I think would be really, really great is if you take certain iconically masculine roles and switch it. So one day I would love to like be the first, like the female Zorro, or like be the first female Joker or something like that. That's why I think I've always kind of found a home in sci-fi, because it's been a really more of like an easier place to kind of put me. Like I am really tall too, so that's the thing. I've never fit into any of the stereotypes, and I've never been either one or the other. And I know that's kind of been tricky sometimes with some of the stories that have been told in the past. Now we're opening up and we're seeing a lot more diversity, and I hope it keeps going, because like the next step is like seeing all the mixes and appreciating how, I and so many other people like me, we're not one or the other, we're both. I'm just as Mexican as I am Korean, and that equals Canadian, which, also I have my American and my New Zealand residency. So like I have like this soup of different cultures. I'm just feel so blessed and so happy that I get to represent all of those things and be part of this conversation. It definitely makes you have some thick skin growing up as an extremely tall Mexican Korean girl, and definitely socially awkward. It had its challenges, but because of it, I think is why I'm able to push through and in any situation and just keep going and keep your eye on the prize, and hopefully find other people who are like-minded and like people like you that just want to keep creating this beautiful conversation and keeping everybody feel included, and it's really important to me.
I think that was such a beautiful answer, and I think that was like incredible and amazing. And I think that when you touch on the fact that the industry is going in a direction of showing more mix and showing more diversity, I think it's people like you in the industry who are taking it in that direction, and who are representing the conversation so well. And we're just very lucky to have people like you in the industry that are taking it in that way, in such a beautiful fashion.
That goes both ways, because you're the one holding the microphone, and I really appreciate it.
To change the trajectory, lighten the mood a little bit, which not in the way that was in a depressing mood at all, because it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. And it's all happening in such a wonderful direction that we just have to be so thankful that there are people like you in the industry who are taking it in that way. Not only are you such a beautiful advocate for that, but you're also a badass, okay? You are an accomplished martial artist. Your first degree in black belt Taekwondo and you're working on your second degree. Can we talk about this? This is like so impressive to me. Tell me more about this.
I mean, I always started training with my dad when I was really young. We kind of had a very different relationship. Like we didn't, you know, do like the normal, I guess, father-daughter stuff. He was just like, you know, you need to know how to defend yourself and you need to know how to fight. But his like first line of best self-defense, don't be there. So he was always like, get your cardio up. So that's kind of how it started. And I just always loved that and watched Terminator 2 at a very young age and Sarah Connor and just that kind of idea, that strong woman. It just got me. And that's all I wanted to do. And I always knew that the world was full of, you know, great people and the opposite of that, right? So you just always have to be careful and be alert. And that's something that my dad just always instilled in me and my brother and my sister. So, but he knew that I kind of had more of like an attachment to fighting and martial arts and loving Buffy the Vampire Slayer and like all of this stuff. So he's like, okay, I guess he thought in hindsight, I think that he was like, that's kind of how I guess I can bond with my daughter. So we started doing that. I grew up and just working on set and you know, a lot of the characters that I've played are very physical roles. So I would meet a lot of members of the stunt community and meeting these gorgeous stunt women that are just like, I mean, you want to talk badass? Like they are badass women. They are so incredible. They come on set, they're game for anything, and you're like, okay, so you have to run down this corridor, you got to jump off the bridge, you got to not hit that pillar because that pillar won't break, but you got to hit that pillar because that's the pillar that's going to break, and oh yeah, you're going to be on fire. And they're just like, yeah, so I'm doing it, blah, 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 out. And just working with that kind of like, and getting to know that kind of mindset of a woman was just like, it was a whole other world to me. I have to thank them, and in particular, Tammy. She's such a badass, and she actually was my stunt double for Midnight. She was the one that really pushed me to go and get my belts, and so I did, and now I just keep going, and now it's just kind of another way of getting to know my culture, because you know I haven't been a Korea yet. I'm hoping I can, but yeah, it was a little bit of both.
I love it because I'm here to learn more about you, and we're all learning so much, and I just feel like these are like the coolest stories. I mean, it's not every day I meet somebody who's like super into martial arts and also super accomplished in it. I get winded walking up a flight of stairs. So this is like super, super interesting to me. And I admire you so much. I wish I could literally do anything active without nearly passing out. So the envy
well, one day when we see each other, we can train together.
Right. Here I am thinking we're going to go to Canada and eat like poutine. You're like, no, I'm going to whip you into shape. You're going to...
Oh, we're going to eat poutine too. I mean, come on. We need fuel for the job.
Right. You know, yeah, that's what's going to keep me going. Okay, well, what's your go-to martial arts move?
A jumping back kick or a tornado kick. I love kicks. I mean, Taekwondo is a lot of kicks.
Jumping kick sounds like nothing that I can do, but I have full faith it's probably incredible. With these skills, you worked security at the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, and then you also worked as a bouncer at some bars and some clubs. Do you have any crazy stories? Any times where you had to like step in there and do anything wild with that?
Oh man. Yeah, you never knew what you were going to get for sure when you went to work. And sometimes it'd be nice and quiet. But I mean, most of the time, whenever I was working, I wasn't, you know, I didn't have purple and pink eyeshadow on, and you know, I was wearing a hat, and I was, you know, not wearing like a pink halter top or anything like that. So, and you know, with alcohol, a lot of the dudes didn't really realize that I was a girl. So, you know, they would just, when they're in that mode, they just don't see anything and they just start throwing their arms and trying to fight. So you just it's more just trying to contain the human than anything. And there'd be some times, that I'd like get them on the floor and I'd just be like, you have to like calm down. And they're just like, yo man, you're hurting me. And I'm like, it's ma'am. And you have to relax or else then I won't hurt you anymore.
Okay.
But so it was a lot of like that type of stuff. Yeah, man, that was so long ago. Still really interesting memories for sure.
Taking a trip down memory lane. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'll stop hurting you and I'll put on my purple eyeshadow when I get home if you just calm down. But right now I'm kicking your butt. So I love that so much. Now, with your many talents and passions, acting, martial arts, a woman of many hats, do you have any other projects coming up that we maybe don't know about, or any plans for the future?
I do have a project coming up that it was really awesome that I got to join the cast of a show called Wheel of Time on Amazon. So hopefully we can get started on that, because COVID, things have been pushed and, but that's definitely in the works. And I've actually started developing a script with a friend of mine, and putting my writing hat on, which is sort of new to me, and being on that side of things. So hopefully that'll come out at some point, and
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
That's going to be amazing. Now, we always love to end our interview with a couple of fun questions. They're a little bit random, but I have some picked out for you. So
okay.
I guess I'll run into those. When I was looking for ideas, I was stalking your Instagram, and I was deep on your Instagram. Like, I was in full stalker mode, and I found some pretty old pictures of you horseback riding. Do you still horseback ride?
Yeah, I do.
Like, wow, you went deep on my feed. Yeah. So tell me about horseback riding. Can we ever still catch you doing that? Is that still a passion?
Actually, because of my dad was a horseman of all traits, and he it was kind of like a prerequisite. If you're going to get dinner, you had to know how to you need to know how to ride a horse, take care of a horse, clean up after a horse, everything. For a while, it's kind of funny, because you always kind of want to rebel against whatever your parents want you to do. And there was nothing more that he wanted than for us to become riders. But you never wanted to do what your parents told you to do. But now I've been getting into it and just kind of finding our time again. It's really quite an awesome experience when you can get that close to an animal that big,
Yeah. Well,
so humbling.
I stalked that deep down on the feed, because that's so cool, and I'm so glad to find out that it's not just a passion that you're no, I don't do that anymore. It's something that you're still into. So that is very cool. All right, rolling into my second question. Is there a favorite food or snack from Canada that we don't have in the States that you absolutely love?
Oh, what don't you guys have? Well, good old maple syrup.
I think we got that here. I think we finally got that right. What's your favorite? Okay, then what's your favorite food or snack anywhere?
I got something from both of my sides. I just found this place in Vancouver that makes fresh conchas, and they are these sweet bread from Mexico, and it's just the most. It's kind of the Mexican croissant.
Okay.
So that's something that I love to treat myself with. Something I have every day as a little snack is kimchi.
I love kimchi.
You do?
It's so good.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's so good. And it's actually really good for your digestive system.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's very, 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 it makes you very healthy. I feel like it's with antioxidants and stuff. No, kimchi is the bomb. My last question for you: you're stuck on an island. Aside from your combat skills that you can use for survival and your strength and everything amazing that you have, what 3 things are you bringing with you?
The 3 things I'm bringing with me to an island is music.
Okay.
Definitely got to have some tunes. Your SPF.
Okay. You're stranded on this island. This isn't a vacation. You're not, it's not like you're chilling. This is for
But I get to bring 3 things. Okay. 3 things. Well, music, SPF, and I guess I gotta bring my partner in crime. Can you bring a person?
Yeah, why not?
I gotta bring the husband. I gotta bring him.
Okay.
Or do I bring the dog? I don't know.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll scratch the SPF or something and bring the husband.
Yes. There we go.
As long as they're both down with the fact that this is supposed to be you stuck on an island for survival and you turned it into spring break vacation. Yeah.
Hey, lemons make lemonade, man.
Right? I love it. Well, we're so excited to see the premiere final season of Van Helsing. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about all this.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.